someone very special. She always talking about get your money right. She talks about this and that. But you know what? I'm gonna let her introduce herself because it's a long list. So I'm gonna give her the floor, and we just gonna chill and have a good conversation. Welcome, Dorenda.
Well, thank you, Mico. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited. Um, so, a little bit about myself. You're right, it's a lot. Well, first and foremost, I am an income protection strategist. Basically, it's a long name for insurance agent, but not just an insurance agent. So I'm an income protection agent. I help individuals and small businesses to identify areas of financial risk, and I help them to put strategies in place that protects their income, their assets, their businesses, and most of all, their financial future. I also teach a series of financial literacy workshops and seminars that are designed to not only educate, but to also empower, encourage, and inspire us to make wise financial decisions so we can live the life we desire and deserve and live it more abundantly. And so I help individuals through financial education and financial coaching.
Okay. So you mentioned about helping small business owners. So when you help small business owners, do you meet them like at networking events or do you meet them like running errands? How do you help small business owners?
So most times when I meet small business owners, it's usually at a networking event or social media. A lot of times, within that little algorithm, that little box that we're put in, and kind of meet people that way. And basically, people have questions, and I try to answer them as best as I possibly can.
Okay. All right. Well, so give us a picture of how when you put like different seminars or workshops together for financial literacy, tell the audience like from point A, like do you start with a topic of the day? Do you start with a spreadsheet? Is it a worksheet that you do? How you come to the end of it? Like give us that A to Z.
So basically, it really kind of depends on the person or the type, the group of people that I'm working with. So depending upon their individual situation will depend, will determine the type of workshop that I'm having. One of my most asked for workshops is called a financial self-care workshop. And so in that workshop, we talk about not just money, but we talk about the mindset. We talk about how we get to a certain place financially. And so we kind of discuss things. And we'll put it like this. Well, there's 5 areas of financial self-care that most people don't really look at. And that's how our mind is working, how our bodies are working, how our spirits are working, how our relationships are working, and so on. And all of those things have a direct correlation, the direct connection. And so for instance, if our mind isn't proper, like if we're all over the place, we're overthinking, we have a lot of stress happening, it affects our body, it affects how we're eating, and it affects how we're sleeping. Then it affects our spirituality. If we have a lot of debt happening or our finances are in a major chaos, of course we want to go to whoever that spiritual leader is in our life. And then, in some cases, depending on the situation, we're even blaming God or whoever that religious, deity is in a person's life. And all of this has a direct connection on our finances. When you feel better, you do better. When you feel bad, you overeat, you overspend, you indulge in various addictions. Addictions cost money, and that addiction could be a shoe addiction. It could be an ice cream addiction. So everything is directly correlated. So to answer your question, when it comes to putting together a workshop, it really kind of depends on what we're looking at, what areas we're targeting. Some people may feel that, I'm stuck in this dead end job. I'm stuck in this low paying job. I don't know what to do. How do I get out of this? And because of this, I have debt and whatever the situation may be. And so in those cases, my workshop is more geared towards what is it that you want out of life? What is your goal? Let's look at your goals first, and then we work backwards so that we can get to that point versus I'm in debt. How do I get out of this massive mountain of debt? Like, well, where do you want to go? If we set a goal and we march towards the goal, the debt will dwindle, and a lot of times that's why people don't get to their reach those financial heights that they want, or that financial freedom that we all claim we want, because we don't have a goal in place. It's like saying, I want to be slim. And then we just sit there like, well, what is slim? Right. Or when people say, well, I want 6 figures, like, great. Which 6 figures? Like 100,000, like $100,000 a year, or 200,000 a year, or $329,438 a year. What is 6 figures? And people kind of stop right there. And
right.
In actuality, $100,000 is no money these days, based on our economy. So, we have to set goals. And so that's what my workshops are really built around. Not so much as fix my credit or eliminate my debt. Like, let's go back a few steps. Let's talk about how we got here. Let's figure out where you want to go, and let's work on getting to where you want to go versus trying to peel away this mountain. Let's target where you want to go, like vacation, right? I want to go to Cancun. Right. Everybody starts planning to get to Cancun. They don't say, oh, I'm going to stop eating ice cream this week so I can go to Cancun. You know what I'm saying? It's like, right. Get the goal first. Like, right. Stop allowing the debt is the end result of a long history of other things. Let's set a goal, and then we work on getting that goal. So that's usually how my workshops are set up.
Okay. Now, when you do the workshops, do you do them like social media? I know we kind of like touched on that briefly, indirectly, but is it more like, have you ever like went and like set up at like a meeting space at a hotel, or you did it at your job as part of your curriculum, like, within your schedule, or, you know what I mean? Like,
right. So the last actual workshop that I've done in person was right before COVID, which was February 2020. And that was actually in Springfield, Missouri. And we were at a physical location. We were in a meeting space at a Panera Bread, and we talked. It was a group for domestic violence, and that conversation was based upon financial abuse and how to prepare for protecting yourself financially before getting into a relationship, and then also how to identify, overcome, and repair financial abuse. And so that, again, that was in a meeting space in Panera in Springfield, Missouri. And just recently, I've talked with a local hotel chain in my area about putting together something this fall. I'm not certain if we're going to go through with it or not, because we're just now starting to get back out there. A lot of things we've been doing has been on, Zoom or virtual. And so we're really trying to get back out there, because It's
Okay.
easy to get on Zoom or any other virtual platform, Streamyard or wherever, but when you're face to face, it allows people to really be more comfortable asking questions. And so we're really trying hard to get back out there so we can have workshops at smaller venues. Intimate small groups are really the thing these days. And so I'm really encouraging people as well let's bring back those home parties, like the Tupperware parties, and things like that. Let's get together with,
Mhm.
10 of your closest family members or girlfriends or whomever. Let's sit around the living room with some snacks and let's talk about finances. Let's talk about these issues that affect women, or business people or men or young people. I've even encouraged some people to bring their children to the table and let's talk finances. Let's get them ready for the world.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. So with um, financial abuse, do you think that starts with a certain culture or race, or do you think financial abuse could be across the board?
Financial abuse is across the board. When it comes to financial abuse, I started talking about financial abuse with my work as an insurance agent and working with senior citizens with Medicare insurance. And what I would find is that a lot of my seniors have cashed in policies because of a grandchild or because of an older child, adult child has convinced or coerced them to cancel policies to get that money out of it. Or even some caretakers have taken advantage of elders. And so that's when I really started getting into financial abuse, and started realizing, I personally have been abused financially. Whereas, when you got your head over heels in the clouds, you meet someone and this is it, and all of a sudden, you've either moved in with them or they've moved in with you, and then all of a sudden one day you wake up and realize somebody is not pulling their weight. And then all of a sudden, not just that they're not pulling their weight, but like, look, don't you still work? Like, you don't, like, do you go to work anymore? I don't see you leave the house. Like, I all of a sudden you notice they're driving your car all the time, or you're the one purchasing the groceries all the time, or you're the one that's taking care of the home or paying the bills. And it's gradual and it's subtle. And then all of a sudden you realize, wait, I'm overwhelmed here. What are you doing? Right? You know, we laugh at things such as guys sitting at home while the woman is at work and he's at home eating all the kids' snacks. Well, it happens often. And so, in the beginning, it's like, hey, I'll ride or die for him or her. And then after a while, you're like, wait a minute, they killing me softly. Like, wait, where was I when this, I didn't how did I miss this? you know
Right.
and so to answer that question, no, it's no particular demographic. It doesn't matter the economic standing of a person. It doesn't matter your level of education. It doesn't matter whether you're Christian, atheist, or whether you're red, white, or blue. It really truly doesn't matter. It happens. It's not gender specific, it's not age specific, and can be between lovers. It can be between children and grandchildren. I mean, children and grandparents,
Mhm.
caretakers. It happens across the board, and it happens frequently. And the sad thing about it is that people are embarrassed to talk about being financially abused. No one wants to talk about money, first and foremost. No one wants you to know that they're struggling, and they definitely don't want you to know that they allowed someone to dupe them. Or better still, not so much allowed, but have been duped. Because it's
Right.
embarrassing. And people are all, there's always naysayers. Oh, that wouldn't have never happened to me. Chances are it has.
Yeah.
And you didn't notice it
Just a
either.
different way.
Absolutely. you know um Again, the guy drives, one partner drives the other partner's car all the time. you know um like, I remember when I was young, like, I dated someone who would literally pick me up from work every day in my car. I thought it was all like, oh, I don't have to catch the bus. And then one day I'm
Right.
like, but wait, but they're in my car. Like, I'm paying the maintenance, I'm paying the gas. Like, I think I've been had. So, yeah, financial abuse is huge, and we don't talk about it enough. And we're all affected by it. Anyone can be affected by it.
Okay. I think earlier you mentioned something about, well, you mentioned about your belief in God, like subtle.
Mhm.
So, do you think tithing play a role, as in, um, I'm trying to put this the right way, having like more of a structured financial plan for your life? Because some people, although they're Christians and they grew up in church or whatever, if they feel like they don't have a church home, right, and they watch online or whatever, they don't tithe because of other reasons. But then you have some people who still follow the Bible and they tithe, right? But I'm going to use myself. So, say for instance, with me, I feel that over the years I've been a tither off and on. So I feel like now I rather tithe and give it to the person versus give it to the church.
Mhm.
But that's me, because I feel like I know when I give it to this person, go buy them something to eat or whatever, it'll be fine. But getting back to the question, to like, do you think it's a correlation with, if a person tithes and give the 10% back to God, that they'll have a better financial outlook for their life?
So that is a great question. And to answer that question without either of us being canceled, I'll say this. To answer your question, I would say no. And the
Okay.
reason I say no is because just think of all of the people out there who doesn't believe in God or any higher being, whether they are atheist or curious or just don't, right? There's so many people out there who have made it successfully, or according to their level of success. There are
Right.
some that are wealthy, there are some that are well off. And I don't think it had anything to do with whether or not they've tithed. I know individuals who tithe on a regular basis and struggle financially every single day. So, to answer your question, I have to say no. Tithing will not determine your level of success. What I will say, though, is when it comes to money, you have to be disciplined, whether you're a disciplined tither or not. Now, the word of God, and um, I'm not very well versed in scripture to memorize verses. Memory Easter speeches were not my thing. But I will say this, somewhere in the Bible, it says, whatever you do to the least of them, you've done to me. Whatever you've done, to the best, you know what I'm saying? So the
Right.
bottom line is this: if I give $100 to a homeless shelter, I've tithed and He sees my blessing, right? I don't have to give it directly to the church. The church is supposed to feed its people. And if the church is the people, the body of Christ, then if I take $100 and I bless a homeless shelter, or I go to a soup kitchen and I give of my time and my energy to cook and to clean and to witness and to conversate or whatever with someone who's in need, then I've given my share and then some. And God sees that. So, there are some people who strongly believe in writing that 10% check to the church every month or every week or however they do it. And I'm not against that at all. I'm not for it, nor am I against it. Whatever works for you works for you. But I do not believe that because you tithe, you have a better life, because that's not true. Because that's like saying, if I smile at everybody, I'm going to stay happy. And that's not true, So, I mean, let's just be real, right? So that's like saying, like, that's like if we look at it like that, then what we're doing is that we're going back to that Roman Catholic way of doing things, where we're paying penance, thinking that if we pay penance, we're going to be blessed, we're going to be saved. And that's not it. That's not how you do it, right? So you have to be disciplined, and you have to make a plan. And so if tithing is part of your plan, then by all means be disciplined in it. But doing so will not get you to the kingdom of heaven, so to speak. Literally or figuratively.
Right. Okay. I'm glad I brought that up. So now
I just hope we don't get canceled.
Nah, whatever. I mean,
it is and it is,
Look, right. So now I'm going to segue into my sponsor interview. So this video is sponsored by Streamyard. I wanted to do that. Sorry. So, all right. So if you're watching this video right now and you have been streaming online through YouTube or using like another streaming software platform, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, you heard about StreamYard, you're not sure about StreamYard, well, you know what? I have a link in the description below. Go ahead and click that link. You can sign up for free. I believe it's the first 13 days. You get a free account, and then you can go ahead and choose one of the three different packages. So just want to let you guys know StreamYard is great. I've been using it for both of my 2 YouTube channels for the last maybe almost 2 years. So very user-friendly platform. I love it. Now that I am a partner, go ahead and sign up with your girl. Go ahead and click that link below. All right. Thank you. Okay.
I love it.
Thank you. All right. So I know that you mentioned plan. You kept saying you got to have a plan. Sometimes people say you got to have a backup plan to the backup plan. And that's something that I practice, like just even in my life, right? So if today you were writing a plan for someone that wants to not only make a certain type of amount of money, but to see themselves not worrying about every time I get paid, I got to make sure my bills are paid. What type of plan you'll write out for that person?
Well, first things first, and the first thing I would want to tackle even before we get to the plan is mindset. No one should be working only to pay bills. We work so that we can have the desires of our hearts, not to pay bills, right? paying bills, or I should say, bills are a result of the necessities to live life:
Mhm.
food, shelter, clothing, heating, water, light, things of that nature, right? But we don't work to pay those. And if we're in a financial situation where the only thing that we can get out of our paycheck is our utilities, then we need to figure out how we can
Right.
increase our income, because the problem is not the job, the problem is us. And I don't mean that in a mean way, but we
Mhm.
have to get to a point where we say enough is enough. I deserve to live and experience life the way it was intended to live and experience it. And if I go to work 40 hours a week and all I can get out of it is that when I pull the switch, the light comes on, that is not enough, because you're not
Yeah.
living, you're just existing. And I'm sure no
Yes.
one wants to just exist. So that's the first step. We want to change mindsets. So the first thing is that we have to get in our hearts some courage. We have to say to ourselves, I deserve this. I'm worthy of this. And I work so that I can enjoy life. And so if you're making, let's say, for instance, let's just say $20 an hour, right?
Mhm.
And you're living paycheck to paycheck. Well, the job, it only pays $20 an hour. That's not
Right.
their fault, nor is it yours. But if you need to make $25 an hour just to cover your expenses, then you have some decisions to make. You
Mhm.
have to either go to that employer and says, listen, I know you're paying $20 an hour, but here's why I need more.
Right.
I've done this, I've done that. The job description calls for this and that.
Mhm.
I've over and exceeded that, and I deserve more, and I'm asking for it. They tell you no, then you can simply let them know. Well, you know what? I'll have to be honest, and I'm gonna have to
Mhm.
leave, and I'll be looking. Right? They can either wait till you find it, or they can let you go. And if they let you go, don't be
Right.
upset about it. Let
Right.
that be your kickstart into finding who you were purposed to be. So the first thing is mindset. So I'm going to ask some questions. When you were young, what did your life look like? The life
Mm.
that you wanted when you were a little girl, or when you were a little boy and you were sitting there in sixth grade, what did your adulthood look like to you? Are you living that life? Now, if you say, I wanted to be a circus clown, or I wanted to be an NBA star, and you can't play ball, like, let's get away from that part. But I mean, as far as your home life, what did your house look like? What did the front yard look like? Did you have a family? How were they living? What kind of schools did your children go to? Right? What kind of car did you drive? Are you living that life? If
Mm.
not, then ask yourself, do you deserve the life you dreamed about? And if you deserve that, then it's your job to start working towards that. Again, we're talking about goals. So that's the first step.
Mhm.
Now,
Okay.
after we get all that mindset stuff out of the way, then we start talking about, okay, let's look at what we have to clear up first. Let's pull your bank statements. Let's pull your
Mm.
debit card statements and your credit card receipts, and let's look at all of that, because those statements will tell us exactly where you're spending your money. And if you're really, really ready to change, then we're going to pull out some notebook paper and a pencil. We're going to write it all down. And I'm going to be honest, we're like, okay, I see you spend, I'm being real open. I spent
Mhm.
a lot of time buying wine. I love red wine. And so far, I'm about 3 months clean, free of red wine, because you know what? There's things that I wanted in my life, and one of them was to be
Mhm.
50 pounds lighter. I can't be
Mhm.
50 pounds lighter drinking red wine every night. It has a lot of sugar. It holds a lot of calories.
Mhm.
So I had to make a decision. Do I like red wine more than I want to lose 50 pounds? Absolutely not. I mean, you have to make those decisions. So when we
Right.
pull those reports, we're able to see where you're spending your money. So the first question is, do you have an income problem? or do you
Mhm.
have a spending problem? And if it's a combination of the two, let's see where we can rearrange your money so that it makes more sense. So it provides
Mhm.
more of what you need so that you can get to where you need to go. So we're pulling those statements. And if you're really ready, then, and we've already hit mindset, then if you're smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, okay,
Mhm.
can you eliminate one day? What day can you eliminate? Can you not smoke? Smokeless Monday, right?
Oh,
Because
wow.
you know what I'm saying? Cigarettes
Yeah.
right now, what, $20 a pack in some places. So if you're smoking a pack a day, that's $140 a week.
Mm.
Can we cut out one day? One pack a day? What day? Smokeless Monday. Okay, so if we cut out $20 one time a week, in a month time, we got what? $80 saved. Use that to start your
Wow.
emergency fund. So sometimes it's not that we're low income or low
Mhm.
financial resources. Sometimes we just need to redirect our money so that we can
Yes.
get that breathing room we're looking for. And sometimes the hard truth is you got to stop some of them habits. And more importantly, why do you have that habit in the first place? You know, because sometimes it's depression,
Right.
anxiety, and depression and anxiety sometimes is brought on because we have financial issues and we're so overwhelmed we don't know how to get our way out, so we instead do nothing, and we medicate that pain through addictions, shopping,
Mhm.
smoking, tattoos, um, beautifying ourselves, you know,
Mhm.
whatever way we feel that necessary, having body um, work done, or hair weaves and extensions and
Mhm.
lashes and all of these other things that we say we're doing it for self-care, but sometimes it's self-medication to
Mhm.
cover up the depression and the anxiety that we're feeling because we're having financial problems. So a lot of it is mindset and inner work. And once we get that inner work, now we can tackle it. Like I said, if we're smoking a pack a day and it's $20 a pack, okay, let's have smokeless Monday or smokeless Sunday or whatever, and
Mhm.
start nipping away at it that way. So that's how we start that plan.
Wow, that's some good stuff. That's some good stuff. As you were talking, um, have you heard of balancing life issues?
I have not.
So I'm going to give you that information after the interview, but I can see you doing those type of uh, networking type of what are they? Okay, so it's more like seminars, workshops, or whatever.
Mhm.
You're a 1099 contractor and you go out, um, like you get on this list, and whatever city you're in, they send you, or they'll send you like various other states and cities. You do these workshops. Sometimes you get paid $125 for like an hour. Sometimes
Okay.
you can do two workshops and it's like $300. So it really depends on you. So I've been with them for a while, but every time I move to a new state, I always update my stuff and then I don't do them for whatever reason. Right. But now today, because I would get the emails. So today I actually reached out to one of the account managers and said, hey, I want to update my information and I need to do a new profile. So I'll give you that information later.
Sure.
I
It
think that would
sounds
be good for
fun.
you.
Awesome. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah. Um, so anything else that you want to say before we kind of close out with like where people can follow you? I know it's scrolling at the bottom, um, with your social media platforms and everything. I wanted to bring up something else. So with life insurance, I know we have different policies, and I know you can spend like 3 days talking about this. probably.
Yeah.
So a lot of people out there, they always want to cash in on, their life policies or life insurance policies or whatever, and they don't know which policy to get. Before we close out, if you can go over two different policies, and for the ones who need just life insurance in general, just need something basic, let them know how they can get it and how they can get it through you.
Okay. So if someone just needs basic insurance, okay. So you're right. This would be like 3 days. So when we're talking about basic insurance, right? And because since we're talking about money, let's talk about basic insurance for the individual who has limited financial resources but needs life insurance. For that person, depending upon age, if they are young enough, let's say 50 years and younger, I would strongly encourage them to take term insurance. Term insurance is what we consider pure insurance. It does not accumulate cash value or anything like that. But just like its name, term, it's only for a specific period of time.
Okay.
And once that term is over, then they have no more coverage. But it works very well for individuals who are low income, especially people who are in their early 20s, 30s, who are just starting out a career, who have not yet um, had children, or maybe even have young children, very young children. It's a great way to get a large amount of coverage for a small amount of money. Most companies will allow you to convert that term policy into a whole life policy anytime before that term policy expires. So that way, while your children are still young, you have a large amount of coverage. It's low cost. Your children are covered and protected in the event that you die prematurely. Now, as time go on and your income increases, you want to get a whole life policy. And
Okay.
if you're looking to build wealth or accumulate growth, then the best whole life policy would be a universal life policy.
Okay.
And so, we definitely don't have enough time to go into the differences between all of the policies. But again, if you're lower income or has a smaller financial resources, a term policy to get pure insurance would be the best. And for individuals who have a little more money and they're 50 or younger and they're looking for growth and accumulation, a universal life policy, because that policy grows with interest, builds a cash value, and can really pack a major punch if you're funding that policy well. So it kind of acts like an investment without being an investment, and it's not an investment, it's life insurance. And so whereas a traditional whole life insurance policy may require, let's say, $50 a month, a universal life policy, you can put in, let's say, maybe $100 or $150 a month, whatever that IRS limit is, because this type of policy is kind of governed by the IRS. You want to make sure you don't reach certain amounts. Otherwise, it's considered an investment and not insurance
Wow.
anymore. But with those types of policies, a lot of business owners use those policies so that they can use the cash accumulation in future years for expansion, for wages, for emergency purposes.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
that type of policy is what was used for some of our businesses today, where, I believe the city of Chicago probably used insurance to fund some of these wrongful death and wrongful, convictions and so on, because the money has to come from somewhere and it doesn't all come from
Right.
taxpayer dollars. And so
Mhm.
insurance really does help business owners accumulate the necessary funds for expansion, even buy sale agreements future, in the future, as well as key person insurance. So at the end of the day, whether you're
Mhm.
an individual or business owner, the foundation of any financial plan should and always will be starting with insurance, because it protects your money when emergencies happen, whether it's loss of life or loss of business. It's the foundation of any financial plan.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know I gotta have you back. So when you come back the next time, oh, Mico, I did this, this, and this. I need to come and share this on your channel. I'm gonna invite you back.
Well, you are
So
very welcome, and thank you for having me. It was fun. I'm always excited to talk about money. And I was just talking with one of my clients today. You know, I would educate for free. Of course, I have to eat, so of course that's why I
right.
sell insurance. But I strongly believe in educating the world about money and finances, because that's something that we don't get taught in school. It's something that we kind of get little lessons from our parents and our family members, and we've picked up some things along the way when we see our friends doing something, but no one really gets taught. It's kind of like cooking. No one teaches you how to cook, but Big Ma grab you in the kitchen and tell you, like, sit down and watch me make this spaghetti. You don't know how much of anything she put in there. Matter of fact, sometimes you don't even know what she put in there. You just know she put the red stuff in there and some white powdery
Mhm,
stuff. And later on in life, you figure it out. Oh, that's onion powder and garlic powder and oregano,
mhm.
you know, and you still don't know how much she put. You just know it tastes good. And that's pretty much how we work with our finances. No one tells us. We kind of go as we watch other people. And if we get the result we're looking for, we say, oh, okay, great. But is it the right result for what we're
Right.
really trying to get to? And in most cases, not. Most cases, we get just enough information to survive and never
Mhm.
enough information to thrive.
Okay. All right. All right. Before you close yourself out, have you um have you written a book since the last time I talked with you?
I did. I wrote a book. It's called the. I, I wish you would have told me. I would have had it written right here
You
with
know
me.
what? I just thought of that. I'm sorry.
It is the 5 areas of self-care, the holistic Lord have mercy, I can't even think of my own
I'm
book.
sorry. I'm
Um
sorry.
5 areas of self-care. Uh Lord have mercy. Let me pull
Oh,
up
that's
my
okay
own
because
book.
we're gonna put that in the description below so people can, go get that book. Is it on Amazon?
It is on Amazon. That is hilarious. I can't even remember the name of my own book.
Do you have a
Um
copy of it nearby?
I
I'm
I do.
sorry. I was just
Now I'm trying to figure out where. Hold on. I do. Wait, hold on.
okay.
See,
It's okay.
and we
No, it's
recording.
okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. So while you're looking for your book, I'm gonna go ahead and tell everyone because I should have opened. I should have said this in the introduction. So um, Dorenda and I are kind of like family. So we're more family than friends. And I've known her since I was very, very young, back in Chicago. So from my pocket guides, from blog to book, everyday passages for worshipers, young adults, um, and teenagers. I'm saying it out of yeah, because I'm going blur on my books as well. But anyway, so I worked. She had a Dorinda had a nonprofit called A Better Me, and so I was here. I just moved here, to Orlando back in 2008. And I was more of her. Was I more of an intern, Dorinda?
Yes, you were an intern at the time. Yes,
Yes, I was an intern, and I used to write this blog. So
yeah, you used to do
I
my
re-
blogs for me. And I,
I
I
used to
went,
do.
I looked at it the other day and they're still there.
Yeah, I
On
think I saw it
Blogger.
too. Yeah, so I did the blog, and I would like put a question, and I would answer it, and some people would, state their answer or whatever. But that's where the pocket guys came from. It gave me a good idea to like write those, because that was, to me at that time, because I just started graduate school at Keller. I think I was in my first year or something like that. And
Yeah.
I went back over it, and I said, man, that's some good stuff. I said, I'm gonna put this in a book. And that's where, the title came from. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and write those books. But I just wanted to tell my audience, I should have said that in the beginning, and I didn't. So now I'm telling you now. So if you got to this part of the video, I know you watched like 45 minutes.
Awesome. Yes. And I definitely appreciated all your help back then. It was some great times. It was definitely great times. And it was my first start with entrepreneurship on that level. My very first nonprofit organization. I found out it was very difficult, trying to get individuals to work for you and to volunteer and stick with it. I believe people were very sincere, but it's difficult trying to find time in your busy life to give of yourself and for free, because
Yes.
nonprofit work a lot of times is free work and with no reward, no monetary reward from it. And
Right.
so you have to be a very special kind of person to stick with that. And so I definitely appreciate all the help that you gave during those times, because it was fun times, and I learned some things about myself during that time. So I appreciate it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I finally found the book. I'm like, I know it's around here somewhere, because I had a stack of things that
Uh-huh.
I've got some journals that I've
Okay.
written, such as my stress relief journal, volume 1, and then Dear Me with Love. I'm working right now on Dear Future Me for women
Wow.
and Dear
Okay.
Future Me for girls. It's actually the manuscript itself is actually complete. I'm just
Okay.
taking my very slow time to publish it, but it's been completed. It was supposed to go out before Christmas, and
Okay.
like I said, I just drug my feet on it, so it's just sitting there waiting. The cover and everything is done. It's just waiting to be published. But this book was my first actual whole complete book where it wasn't a journal, and it's called The 5 Areas of Self-Care, a holistic guide to financial restoration. And
Okay.
so that's what it looks like. It's not a lot of pages, but it talks about those 5 areas. um, it talks about self-care. It talks about how the mind, body, spirit, relationships, and our finances all work together in unison. And just a quick point, a lot of times when I talk to people about that, are like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, well, let me ask you this. If you had $5,000, let's say, sitting on a table,
Mhm.
right, and you had a fan blowing, and you had a window open, and someone came in, opened the door, all of a sudden all of your money flies out the window. How would you feel?
Mm.
Would you instantly get angry? Would you try running outside trying to get it? Are you ready to fight? Right? Let's say it's all the money you had, and you had bills due, and all of this, right? So now you're angry. All of a sudden, you've got a headache, you got a migraine, you're sick to your stomach, you can't sleep, you can't eat. Your conversation with people have changed. Your mood has shifted. The relationship with the person that opens the door goes haywire. Now you're
Wow.
snappy on everybody that you talk to. Now, because you're depressed about it, now you're going to overeat, or you're going to probably not eat, then you're going to overeat because now you're worrying about,
Right.
how do I recover what I've lost? How do I pay these people? Right now, all of a sudden, you're eating and drinking things you shouldn't, you're oversexing, you're undersleeping, and so on and so forth. So now your physical health is at risk. So now
Mm.
you've got heart disease, cancers, diabetes, just all kinds, overweight, just all kinds of stuff
Right.
that's happening. And then now, when your money's gone, your physical is shot, your mental is shot. What's next?
Mhm.
God, why
Right.
me? Of
Right.
all the people in the world, I've been right by you. Why
Right.
me? I worked hard. Why me? Right? So you can't tell me they're not connected. But the
Mhm.
minute you win the lottery, oh Lord, it's a blessing, right? All of a sudden you're getting your hair done, your nails done, you want to look good, and all of a sudden you're happy and you smile, and you even happy with the person that opened the window or whatever and let your money out. All of a sudden your attitude with them, it's all connected. And here's one final thing, and I know, I'm probably just taking all your time, but here's one final
No, it's
thing.
okay.
It's known that one of the biggest reasons for divorce in America is finance.
Yep.
And it's not because women or men are literally just fighting over money, playing tug of war. Women view money as a means of protection. When a woman knows that there is enough money to cover her bills, her clothing, and just all of that, that's her
Mhm.
security. When a
Right.
man doesn't work, or he's not taking care of the house the way he should, or she's the breadwinner and he's not, people think that, like, oh, well, she makes 100,000, he makes 50, they straight. They're not straight. She's straight alone. But
Mhm.
together, she's looking at it. He's supposed to be my protector. And
Mhm.
he's not bringing the security blanket I need. It's not about gold digging, it's about protection. Because a woman who has a man that has money and she has her own, she not going to, in most cases, she's not going to go
Right.
splurge on his. They just comfortable.
Right.
She's satisfied that she's protected. But when he's making less, or he's not doing his part, not carrying his
Mhm.
weight, even though she can carry the home alone, she's upset. And people think it's because she's money hungry, and it's not. She's upset and she's uncomfortable. She's fearful and she's high anxiety because she
Mhm.
believes her protective covering is not in place.
Wow. 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 I wish we had more time. You know what? We're going to do a part two of this because I'm telling you, this is some good information for just singles. It can be good information for married people, whatever. This is some really good information. And I'm so happy that you brought this up. So let's go ahead and close this out. I know it's scrolling across the bottom with all of your social media, but if you can just let them know how they can find you and how they can work with you in the future.
Sure, absolutely. So the best way to find me is through Facebook, on my Facebook page, Dorenda Monique Clink. And then also my website, dorendaclink.com. I have a contact form there where they can reach me. And there's when they fill out that contact form, they'll get a intake form and they can put their information, their question, and things of that nature. And then I can respond to them there. While you're on the website, make sure you take the debt is not an option pledge, because we know that we do not have to take debt and it will not be an option in our lives. So be sure to take the pledge. You'll get a downloaded certificate that you can proudly display in a frame on your wall for all to see. And pretty soon, I'm working on my first podcast, which is called Finance Uncluttered, where we'll talk about money, we'll talk about mindset, and most of all, we'll talk about mayhem that blocks you from reaching your full financial potential.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. All right, guys. So you have it. There you go. Make sure that you look in the description below. She's going to have all her information. Of course, the Streamyard link for you to go ahead and sign up. Also, a copy of her book as well. That's for purchase on Amazon, correct?
That is correct. Yes.
All
All of
right.
my books can be found on Amazon under Dorenda Monique Clink.
All right. Thank you, guys. And I will see you in the next video.